You're going to be shocked. Our 4 stocks this week are ready to launch to new highs from absolutely fabulous setups. Let's take a look at what they are right now.
So let's go ahead and let's see what kind of stocks we're looking at going into this month. So our first stock for the day happens to be PATH. Anil?
Yeah, strong stocks, very strong fundamentals. Accumulation distribution A minus, comp 99, up down is 1.6. And gave a signal recently on my system, so I like it.
So are you buying it right now?
I'm looking for a slight pullback. It has pulled back since it did a big breakout. I might wait later on till today or try to get in.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty close.
That looks darn good. That is basically looking really good. And I really like that one. It's close on a nice formation here where you gapped up, came back into the middle of the gap. Guys, this is one of those stocks you learn from. Notice how the middle of the gap tends to be a huge level of support, strong level of support. It's doing it right now, and it's popping off of there. And I agree with Anil. I wouldn't want to identify a level much lower than today's low, but maybe midsection of the candle so it can ram up above the 8 and the 20. If I get close above the 820, Anil, I'd be looking at jumping all over this.
Yep, looks good.
I like it. My stock for today is one that, full disclosure, the autopilot trading service has been trading for quite some time. We're actually in this trade from all the way back down here last year, but I think it's time to expand and get into it again. Continues to be a highly rated stock with an accumulation distribution of a B plus, 99 on the comp, up-down ratio of 1.8. It appears as if we are approaching this high over here. Swap over to the monthly chart, and as you see, we've got a long way, a little bit over $125 to get back up to the past high here. So it is heading in the right direction. The monthly chart, as you can see, we had a crossover several months ago, and it's continuing to push higher. And then on the weekly chart, this is what I want to look at for the longer term hold. And as you see, the momentum of the market forecast, the intermediate line, the green line is up and just continues to just stay up there. And when you get a stock that is a runner, that's oftentimes what happens. I would look at a pullback in between the 8 and the 20. Let's say about 137.10 is where I'd look at getting into ZS with a stop just slightly below the uptrend line, which is about, and I'll give you a number on that, which is a little bit over 4% away. So that's well within the parameters of my trading system. So that's that. I'm sorry, Anil, go ahead.
Price level you said is what, 237 or something you said?
Yeah, I would put an alert at, let's say 240, and I'd be looking to enter somewhere about 238. So Anil, the question for today is, what is the Holy Grail of trading?
The cup that caught his blood at the crucifixion.
And why do so many fail? Because they keep searching for it. Anil, you said you looked up Holy Grail.
Complete record of his search for the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I was curious, so I looked up, and basically in a nutshell, what it says is a strategy or a system that profitable all the time with no losses and is consistent.
So I'm not sure those two things go together, man.
Yeah, but that's what it said.
There is no Holy Grail.
Okay. So what is the Holy Grail, and why do you think people keep looking for it?
The search for the cup of Christ is the search for the divine in all of us.
And why do you think people keep failing? Because they keep looking for it.
Because I think it looks so simple when you sit back and look at it. Oh, I got to buy low and sell high. Let's do it. But then when they get into it, there are so many other variables that are involved, and it's a question of mass psychology. Unless you get into tune with that, it creates problems. And I think Wyckoff does a pretty good job with the description of his composite man and everything.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to get in tune. And that's the reason I think many of us fail, including me. I failed several times.
Yeah, and it's always like it's a continuous search. So one of the things, Anil, that really has been driven home to me is that I think that the search for the Holy Grail has to do with a hunger, almost an addiction for additional knowledge. If I just know more, I'll automatically be able to trade better, which is basically not true because gaining knowledge is a fairly easy task. And so everybody can continue to gorge themselves on the knowledge of how to trade and read all the books and all that kind of stuff. However, when the rubber meets the road, they basically are unable to do it. Why? Because they don't have a mechanism to apply the knowledge. In other words, they don't learn how to practice their trading. They don't know how to do back testing on their trading. I've had numerous people tell me that I've learned a lot from you, but I just got to go learn more because I'm just not sure that what I'm doing. And one of the things I would like to encourage them to do if you're stumbling looking for the Holy Grail is learn just enough to start being profitable. You don't need to know 110% about the system or the interworkings and all the nuances. Learn enough to become profitable and then focus on that. Have you ever seen that demonstration by Stephen Covey, Neil, where he comes out with a bucket full of sand and rock and all that kind of stuff, and it's really close to the top, and another bucket that's totally empty. And he calls this person up from the audience. The person comes up and says, here's your bucket, and it's full of all the distractions in life or the small, they're important, but they're not critical. Here's your critical, and hands a bunch of rocks that are the real critical things, the big things to get in. Says, okay, put them in the bucket, but you can't go over the top of the lid. And so the person tries to squeeze and push these rocks down into it could be job, it could be family, it could be a lot of different, very important things. And they find out they can't get it in because of the small crap they've been focusing on until he says, there's another way. Let's take the big rocks and put them in the other bucket, which they do. And they get all the big rocks in the other bucket. And then they pour the rest of it, the noise, the nuances, and it all filters down around it. And they fill up the bucket totally to the top, but don't go over the top. And so I think part of the thing, and if you're having trouble focusing on getting to the Holy Grail, identify your big rocks and focus on those. In autopilot trade, we have 6 big rocks. What to trade, when and where to enter, when and where to exit, what strategy we're going to use, what we expect, and then finally have a mentor. Those are the 6 big rocks to focus on. So I hope you enjoyed that. Neil, sorry, I didn't mean to get going so much, but I just did.
Was good.
So have you ever thought about that? Maybe you haven't defined it as big rocks, but focus on just the important few.
Yeah, I think in there, I go back on the mindset and the psychology part that's overlooked. Even after you have your strategies and rocks in place, if the psychology mindset part is not used, you get into problem. Typically, that deals with taking action when action is needed.
Yeah. Part of the other things that drove it home to me is that concept of applying the knowledge, which is partly the mindset, but also the physicality of that. And so I think that's why people move on, because guess what? Applying the knowledge is where the real hard work comes from, but has the biggest reward. So no more on that. We'll bust along over to the next session.
Where the cup that holds the blood of Jesus Christ resides forever.
Your APPF. I'm not familiar with this.
Again, it's a software company. I don't know the details. It just popped up on my screen and it is
Okay.
a big jump. Earning is out of the way. So now I'm looking for a slight pullback and might get in there.
Yeah, I really like that. We got our breakout. Any pull back towards, and it doesn't have to get all the way back down to the breakout area of about 212. That looks good. A little bit light on the volume though, Anil. So are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay because the fundamentals are so strong and the story is strong.
Okay, excellent. SOXL, really nice pullback into the uptrend line. And we're starting to break out back above the 8 and the 20. This is your leverage ETF pick for the week, folks. And so I'm looking at, if I bought it now, I'm about 8% away from the swing low. When I face a situation like that, if I did want to buy immediately, I would only buy a portion of a position, whereas if it went against me and swung below this swing low right here, I would never lose more than I would with a full position. However, what I'll be looking on this one is probably a pullback back to about $33 or so is what I would be looking at for a potential trade on that. It looks really good. Looks like the momentum is starting to shift up from down here off of the zero line and also shifting on the market forecast. So I really like that one. What's your thoughts on SOXL?
No, it's looking good.
Okay. So there's 4 great picks, folks. This market is just going absolutely phenomenally. Hey, just a reminder, the keys to success in the market is to have a plan and stick to it. One of the ways I established my plan was we wrote this book called The Trade Your Way to Freedom. It's a bestseller over on the Amazon. I will put a link down in the description on how you can get hold of this book. Those who have bought it, I want to thank you so much. The reports and come back on the book have been phenomenal. Hey guys, if you did find value today, please tell your friends. I got several emails with people who said, hey, I'm sharing your stuff with other people and they're really enjoying it. So I appreciate the heck out of that. If you found today's session valuable, join our community. Hit the subscribe button and share it with other traders. Remember, you are in control of your trading journey and we're here to provide you some guidance along the way. So trade smart, stay focused, and make 2024 your year of trading triumph. I just want to let you know that all the materials we do present are for training purposes. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. Past performance is not an indication or promise of future performance.